All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be talking about the new Apple products. So they pretty much brought out the M3 lineup, the M3, the M3 Pro, and the M3 Max. So I recently picked up a 15-inch 15-inch MacBook Air M2, and so I'm watching this event, and I also have a Mac Studio, M1 Mac Studio, if you don't know. So I'm watching this event, and you know how Apple does. You know, they kind of sidestep some things, but I think the real question that you as a consumer should be asking yourself is, why didn't they compare the M3 to the M2? That's an easy answer. And the answer is, it's not that much faster. So pretty much what they did was they compared everything to the M1 lineup, and you know, they let you know, hey, it's this much faster. This is how they do their product launches. It's this much faster, it's this much faster, and it does this 100 times more and this 75 times more. And that's fine and dandy, that's cool, but I think really they should have just, you know, kept it 100 and put it next to the M2, because really what's gonna happen is people are gonna, I hope someone notices this, as a consumer, I hope you don't run out and just buy the M3 and get rid of your M2, especially not trading it back into Apple for pennies on the dollar for what you bought it for. So the M3 is fast. The M3 lineup is great. I even considered getting me another 14-inch Pro, but the 15-inch MacBook Air M2 is actually more than enough. Heck, the M1s are enough for what I do. And I think me having one of the most powerful computers they have, which is the M1 Mac Studio, that thing flies through everything. So if I'm ever on the go or something like that, in reality, folks, the M1 and the M2 are fast. They're fast. If you have an M1, I still have an M1 MacBook Air up there, and it's blazing fast. You could edit on it, do everything on it, and it's going to be great. But I think, you know, this event right here probably didn't even need to happen. They could have just announced the products and put them on the website, and then posted a few things on Twitter, and, you know, send everybody on their way. Cool that they wanted to do a launch event, but I think more people were in awe that it was recorded on an iPhone. Like, that's, I'm using an iPhone right now to record this video. You're not in awe, but you can see it's pretty good quality, but really good quality. But the fact is, I think that became a highlight. It just takes one or two people to say it. You know how it goes. One or two people point something out online, and then everybody just follows suit and everybody's in awe. But the reality is, Apple's kind of up to their tricks here by only offering the space black on the higher priced models. And I just refuse to be a sucker for that. I'm glad I got my 15-inch MacBook Air. That's probably got to be the sweet spot for someone. The 15-inch MacBook Air, folks, it's a great laptop. I will be following up on it too. And I just feel like, you know, unfortunately with Apple's products, it's a hard sell. If you still haven't upgraded and you have an Intel Mac, then okay, yeah, start looking at some of the newer silicon chips that Apple in their products. Start looking at them if you want to stay with Apple. But in reality, you know, I don't think anybody still has an Intel Mac. If you do, you're doing great. It's working for you, you know, the way you need it to work. It worked for you back then. You did all your editing or whatever you did. I did it too. But if you just need more power, you could just go to an M1 and you will be blown away. You're going to be blown away with an M1. So going from an Intel all the way to an M3, you know, if you can find an M1, you definitely can find some of those recertified in Apple Store. And you get a full warranty. They sell it to you just like new. But I feel like, you know, with this event, Apple kind of put the blinders on for everybody. I think they kind of like trying to trick you into buying these M3s, but they didn't match it to the M2, which is what it really, I think it would have been a better representation of the real upgrade, but they're not going to do that because there's probably not that much difference in performance. So with me having a new 15-inch MacBook Air, I'm pointing right here because it's sitting right here. This is my get around. Like when I don't want to be in the office, you know, I prefer to have, especially if I want to edit or something like that, a MacBook. You know, MacBook. This is what I like to do. And the 15-inch to me, after owning I do have a 17-inch LG Gram, and that laptop is great for like browsing and some light editing when compared to Apple. It just doesn't compare as far as speed and performance when editing for what I do. But overall, that's a great laptop. It's a little pricey. Yeah, every time I get something, it goes on sale afterwards. But 1,800 bucks, I think it was. But it was a 17-inch laptop, and it weighs less than this 15-inch laptop. I did an initial video on the 15. And by the way, folks, the blue 15 MacBook Air that you saw is no longer. I decided to switch to a space gray because the blue was just too messy, if you will. Like it just didn't sit well with me. It got dirty really quick or whatever. So I was like, nah, I can't do this. So I swapped it out and got a space gray. It's just a nice neutral, looks more premium. The blue color didn't look as premium after a while. And so, yeah, it was inevitable that I was going to go to a space gray. But, nonetheless, if you own a 15-inch MacBook Air, you kind of got the sweet spot, folks. Especially if you're going to be doing like editing and things like that. It can be done. It can be done. It's a matter of how you're going to be using it, what you're going to be doing with it, and, how much power you need and things like that. It can be done. And I'm a living witness to this. The 15-inch MacBook Air is very sleek, very sexy. And I think the new products that they brought out, they are nice products, but who is it for? Like, who's going to buy these? Because if you have an M1, your laptop's still really fast and very powerful. And it also depends on which M1 you have. Like I said, I have a Mac Studio M1. I really thought about going to the Mac Studio M2, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. So what I decided to do, I said, maybe I'll use this M1 Mac Studio, whatever, the first Mac Studio, for a little bit longer and see if I can wait and see if they have some recertified in the Apple Store, like some 2s or 3s in there, and then grab it. I just don't, and I could probably trade that in and get a Mac. I've considered that. I've considered trading it in, just getting the new Macs. But I was like, nah, there's no point in it. How much power am I really going to get for what I do? And, it was just, I was like, should I? And I was like, that's something that I might consider just because, my Mac Studio, I think I put it in there and it was worth like $1,400 or $1,200 or something like that. And I only paid like $1,000 for it. So, that's a win for me just to change just because I can, you know what I mean? Like that's just a quick swap out and get all the extra money just to have the latest product. But other than that, for the laptops, the 15-inch MacBook Air is a sweet spot, folks. It's a really good spot. It's a good position to be in. It's the M2 chip. I have the base model with 8 gigs, 256 gigs of storage. Really, once I went past that, I was like, do I really need all of this? Probably not. So I said, because I have a studio. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this right here and just call it a day and just go with the base trim. Because Apple's base products are worlds faster than pretty much every Windows computer on the market when it comes to the things that I do, like editing videos and, producing, rendering. Not too many computers can touch them. It's going to have to be a very powerful Windows computer to touch it. And actually have some really powerful Windows computers. But nonetheless, the Apple event was underwhelming at best for me. I mean, I don't like that they're playing this game of we're going to release the color, space black color, only on the higher price trims. I think that's kind of lame. And also, they didn't point out that, it's not that much faster than the M2. They really didn't. So, as much as I like to rock with Apple, I will say I am loving all my other products. I'm loving this 15 Pro, Apple Watch Ultra, best decision I made by selling my other Apple Watch and going to the Ultra. Battery life is just stellar. It stays on. I don't even really need power saving mode on this watch at all. I can get at least 3 to 4 days out of it, sometimes 5 with no power saving mode. So yeah, I mean, the other products I've always been a Mac person. Ever since I got my first 12-inch MacBook or MacBook Air, whatever it was, back then, I don't know, 10 years ago, I don't know how long it's been, I decided to go full throttle with Apple because of the creation part of my channel. It was just better for me to create and edit on Macs. And other than that, man, I think, the Apple events, I'm ready for Apple. And it's on a side note, I'm ready for Apple to bring out a folding device. After experiencing what I currently have in my lineup, I think Apple can do a great job at a folding device. If they weren't so bougie and not wanting to do certain things, everything can't be perfect. You got to jump out there and just give it a try, which is what Samsung is great at. You know, they're giving it a try. LG tried it. OnePlus has tried it. Other phones, Google finally tried it. There's lots of things that I think Apple would capitalize on and actually be better at than some of the current foldables. And I'm not even an Apple person per se, like for their phones and stuff like that. I'm just not getting in the flow of regularly carrying an iPhone again, because I did carry the iPhone 10 for almost 2 years, and I really love that phone, which is probably why I favor these smaller variants of devices in most cases, like Pixel 8. Bought the Pixel 8 Pro, Google sent a Pixel 8 Pro, and I decided to go ahead and buy the Pixel 8 because it's inevitable. These smaller devices are what you need at some point for regular usage. So hopefully Apple will bring out some kind of folding phone. It would have been nice if they gave me another one more thing type of deal. You know, that would have been pretty cool, but they did not. This event for the M3 lineup, what did you think about it? And then they had the nerve to put the M3s in the iMacs, and really they should have brought out a Pro iMac and brought out a bigger screen iMac, but they did not. So this is Apple. This is what they do. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed discussion video Apple event. Were you impressed? I was underwhelmed. Take care.